Sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, part two, of a never-ending saga, really, we keep bringing you each and every year. About this time, anyway, the company, first called Diamond V, then called Epicore, we'll get into that, but this remarkable substance that really has brought things to the table, allowing you to prevent diseases, upper respiratory infections, the seasonal flus, and the like. And how it does that is what we're going to be talking about today with Mr. Stewart Reeves, who represents the company called Epicore. We'll get into just what it is that Epicore does. Getting into the science today, I always enjoy bringing that to you. We once did when we first launched this product 3-4 years ago. And here we are again, bringing it back up because, it's just such a unique product. It absolutely deserves to have the attention swung to it again. If in the course of our discussion with Mr. Reeves today, you'd like to call in to ask a question or make a comment about Epicore, you can do so by giving us a scream at that number that you're so used to using, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. The discussion on Epicore today. Okay, now looking at the schedule for the remainder of the month, on next Monday, our next guest is going to be on Monday morning. Roland Thomas is going to be here talking about bioengineered algae, evidently our newly found or soon to be newly found best medicine, most powerful one on the drawing board. So Roland will be with us then. Then Darren Starkey comes aboard with us. We launch our relationship with a company referred to as Trace Minerals Research. Minerals are where it's at. Ionic minerals are where it's at. And we have never really pursued a relationship with a company, and I'm happy to do so with one so well recognized by especially you, the listeners, who I believe were the ones that brought this to my attention a number of months ago. Darren Starkey with us and our special guest on the 19th. Then just yesterday spoke to the office of Dr. Peter DeWitt. Now you remember Dr. DeWitt as an interesting physician from Texas, talking about how you can beat any disease. Heal Thyself is the name of his book. We had him here 3 times in the span of about 3 to 4 weeks. And we're going to bring him back to talk about, I think maybe a perspective we just didn't get into enough, and that is, how do you actually handle a patient with a disease in your office, Dr. DeWitt? And so I picked cancer. I said, hey, you got cancer patients there. Why don't we let you describe for us how it is that you manage the cancer patient from your approach, which is both very physically related, medically oriented, as well as spiritually. And we'll let him explain that one on the 26th of the month. We will be quickly approaching the month of February. We have 2 guests scheduled at the present time. One on the 9th is going to be, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones will be with us, giving us some hints on libido boosting with natural remedies. And it'll be her Valentine's gift to you. And Doug Inglesby is going to be our featured speaker on the 16th. The flavor makers are going to be talking about pharmaceutical industry's attempt to make drugs so palatable, so good looking that the public kids end up moving towards taking over-the-counter things specifically. Doug Ingalls be with us on the 16th. And that's pretty much our schedule as it unfolds. More and more stuff that keeps coming out on that cancer test. We'll talk a bit about that on Friday. Also, too, new blurbs hit the blogosphere on what now they say is the best way to screen for cancer, breast cancer, ladies. And interesting little take on that one. I'll bring that to you on Friday. Also, always interested when the mammogram hits the airways again, and now a new twist, interesting, on the mammogram on how it really isn't a tool. Finally, when medicine comes up with something that they feel they want to promote, then they just hack away at the standbys that have been standing and withstanding all sorts of assaults over many, many years and months, and that's what's happening here. When a new doc figures out another way to handle disease, it's then and only then he wants to talk about the tool he's been ramming down your throat for so long that it's almost embarrassing to think that he would have the huevos, if you know what I mean. Thank you, Sarah Palin. The huevos to approach you and with a straight face. Anyway, we'll talk a bit about that on Friday. So let's do this. I'm really interested in getting to the topic today, talking about the science behind this product called Epicore. Epicore, originally brought to you 4 years ago by Arlene Brecker and myself. At the time, we couldn't find anybody in the country who would come on our show and talk about it. It was just so new, they hadn't put their public relations mechanism into play. Well, here it is many years later. It's in play now, and the head of it all, Stewart Reeves, our guest today. Be back in a moment to talk about Epicore.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years.
Boy, you
We
are
offer
right there. Are
metabolic
you
nutrition
not?
testing, immune system repair,
Raring to go.
natural
Okay.
hormone
We're
replacement
in a little
therapy,
bit commercial
chelation
break.
therapy,
We'll come back to
cutting-edge
you.
allergy
We'll
correction,
be off
and a
air.
host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to discuss tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones a blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on this rather frigid version of the show. We got major storms going on outside, ladies and gentlemen. 2-hour delay is resonating throughout the entire area, so I know the kiddies are gathered around the radio with us this morning. And so make some room for them. We're going to be talking about a topic that I enjoy bringing up to you. I usually do it each and every year anyway, and it's been, at least it was my thought that it was so difficult to get somebody to tell us about the science behind this product that I've been endorsing for many, many years. Now, the product is called Epicore, and we do have an individual who's very knowledgeable on the product, very knowledgeable on the company. His name is Mr. Stewart Reeves. He's with us right now. Let's say good morning and welcome aboard. Good morning, Stewart.
Thank you very much for having me back.
Well, I enjoy having you back, and when we last spoke, it was in the month of December, not too long ago, when I found you, because believe you me, Stewart, in previous days, I couldn't find anybody who would come on the show, now we're talking about a few years back, and give us scientific information that my listeners were screaming for. I know we're going to be getting to that today. What is your exact title? What do you do for this company called Epicore?
Okay, well, first of all, I apologize that I didn't get to talk to you before. That's communication.
Okay, well, apology accepted.
I'm Stewart Reeves. I'm the Director of Research and Development for Embryo Health Sciences. And that's a small Iowa company that makes Epicore, which is the dietary supplement that helps modulate the immune system.
Now this thing, because the story is so, it's so interesting, and what I thought could have been folklore turned out not to be so at all. Could you just give our listeners who may be stumbling on this thing called Epicore for the first time today a little bit of a peek behind the curtain on how it came to be, really?
Surely. The parent company of Embryo is called Diamond V Mills, and it's been making animal feed additives for over 60 years. And these are sold because they increase the health and production of farm animals. And back round about the year 2001, several things started happening in this animal feed additive company at once. I started looking at the effects of the product on the animal's immune system and finding good results. But at the same time, we discovered, quite by accident, that the workers in the plants that were manufacturing the animal product were really not getting sick very often. And as a result of this, for example, they wanted to combine their sick days and vacation days because they never took sick days. And our insurance premiums just weren't going up when everybody else's were. And this led us to the idea that maybe the workers in the plant were being exposed to extremely low doses of the animal product and were sort of breathing it in, and it was affecting their immune system. So we checked that out, and they did indeed seem to have very healthy immune systems, more healthy than office workers, for example. And from that starting point, we decided, well, I think we can make a product that will be good for humans and suitable for the dietary supplement market.
I love that story.
For a couple of years, we had Epicore.
Well, I love that story because it sounded so folklorish that it could have been a fallacy, yet it turns out, when you confirmed it last time with us, that that's exactly how it happened. Two things, I guess. One, this Diamond V company, maybe this is inaccurate, nonetheless, it was quite the well-known animal additive that most of the livestock owners in the country moved toward. They wanted the Diamond V product because their animals came to market in much better shape, much healthier, much better yield than with any other product. Do I have that right, or is that folklore too?
It's more or less right. Diamond V Mills is a relatively small company, but it's very well regarded. It's a leader in its niche in animal feed additives. And yes, a lot of the people who bought it originally, one of the things they said was, I don't care whether my yields go up or not, I know when my animals eat your products, they're healthier.
They're healthy.
They look better, and that's got to be for the good in the long run. So yes, it's a well-established company, started in 1943.
Quite a ways
In
back.
fact, it survived that long means it must have a product that works.
Now, this little, another little thing I'm going to ask you about, if there's anything folklorish, this has got to be. But I actually remember at the time hearing, who knows where I heard it, that, I mean, the livestock owners used to mix, they actually fed this to their children. Am I right about this? Is that going a little too far?
There are rumors that
Rumors were actually, okay.
I do know that well before we were selling Epicore, one of our employees used it because he had bad arthritis and he used the animal product. This, of course, is not really a good idea because animal products aren't tested the same way that human products are.
But there is a bit of truth to this, huh? There is.
There's a snippet of truth. I wouldn't advise it to anyone. I mean, it is a different product. It's based on the same concept. But we've developed something where we know what the doses are. We know its effects. We've done all the science. And it does seem to have slightly different effects in humans than the animal product does in animals. So let's stick to consuming the human version.
All right, so I had to ask it. I had to get it out of my chest. The issue of the science. Now here you are, R&D. Now you're the guy where when research needs to be done, you were the one, the go-to guy on this one. And so I knew there was science back then when this was first launched by your company. I could get my hands on it, yet my difficulty, as I've already explained, was to get somebody from the company to talk about it. You would have been the guy then. You're certainly the guy now. Could you tell me scientifically what you found when you tested your product that was interesting to you with respect to how Epicore affects the human body and especially its immune system?
Sure. Yes, I was with the parent company for 10 years, and I've been with Embryo working on Epicore for 5. And obviously, the first things we did scientifically were terribly boring. We proved it was safe for human consumption. You know, that's the first thing you must do. But then when we started feeding it to humans, we knew it affected the immune system. And we had a lot of evidence that that was beneficial. What fascinated me most, and still does, is that it doesn't just stimulate parts of the immune system, which is what a lot of products do. It doesn't just do that. It stimulates some parts, it suppresses others, and what this means is it's balancing the immune system. And to me, it's a true dietary supplement. It's supplementing our diets with something that's missing in this modern world. And it's helping the immune system behave the way nature intended it to behave, which is very difficult with a Western diet and a Western lifestyle.
Sure, absolutely. The concept of something called immune boosting, I think, permeates my realm. The doctors who work in this area, every product that comes along wants to bespeak of the fact that the product is an immune booster. And we have bought into that mantra as the ideal, this is what we should be actually seeking, is to try to boost the immune system to make it work at a feverish pitch, and in so doing, it will benefit you. Could you take some time, because I believe this is the first time that we'll come up against something that brings a completely different concept to it, which has got to be the healthier approach. Could you distinguish between immune boosting, immune balance, I think is the word you use, and compare the two and why the ideal really shouldn't be boosting, it should be balancing?
I will explain that as best I can.
Okay.
First of all, it's I think the idea of immune boosting came from a sort of subliminal thought that all the immune system does is fight off disease. And if all it does is fight off disease, then it's great to boost it so that it can fight off disease. Over the last few decades, we've come to learn so much more about the immune system, and that it does far more than just fight off disease. And there are parts of the immune system that, in fact, it's not necessarily a great idea to boost. For example, one immune response is inflammation. Now, inflammation is a great idea at the right place and at the right time. For example, if you cut yourself, you'll get an inflammation at that, and if you cut yourself and it gets infected, you'll get an inflammation at the wound. This is a sign that the immune system is working efficiently. That's part of what it should be doing. But there are other times when you don't want inflammation. Now, anyone as old as I am, who's done as many stupid things in their life as me, has joints that hurt.
Yes.
We don't want inflamed joints. That's due to the immune system, and it's not good. Also, if you take about 30 to 40% of younger Americans, you will find that they suffer from seasonal allergies. This, in fact, is the immune system doing something it shouldn't do, and you really do not want to boost the immune system if you're suffering from a seasonal allergy. There's a lot of reasons behind why the immune system is working like this in the West, and that's probably an entire separate program. But there are times when you want to boost parts of your immune system, and there are times when what you really need is to suppress other parts of your immune system. So what you really need is balance, so that you can fight off diseases more efficiently, and so that you are less likely to have things like seasonal allergies. It's a question of balance, not boosting. That's my summary.
Well, that was a great summary, and could we just, for a moment, I'd like to get your opinion on this side of the equation. Talking about boosting as the ideal isn't the way we really should be thinking of it. I think you just made a great case for it. And how many different products are out there that speak of being an immune booster? I mean, every single thing comes along.
Yes.
It appears that is what the manufacturer and the producers wanted to accomplish. On the other side of the spectrum, just for the heck of it, where we are looking at, I have found that there has been a big increase in those who propose and are proponents of fish oils for their anti-inflammatory property. And certainly, talking about joint disease, okay, if you actually had joint disease, probably be one of the nice ways to take care of it would be to use something like fish oils. But everybody, and I mean everybody and their mother, is taking large doses of fish oils every day, irrespective of whether they've got an inflammatory joint problem or not. Would you say that's equally potentially harmful, or at least, it's not the word harmful, at least it isn't where you want to be going with this if you don't have an anti-inflammation component to your problem?
We have, part of the problem with any dietary supplement, of any diet in the West, is that it isn't the diet that our ancestors used and our body got used to. I think many of us in the West probably don't get the right balance of omega fatty acids. However, we tend to have this feeling in the West that more is always better. What worries me is that we think something's good for us if we get the right amount. It must be better for us if we take 5 times the right amount. And this isn't always true. Our diets do tend to be sufficient, and to a certain extent, I think fish oils are probably beneficial for a lot of people. What concerns me is large numbers of people who need a small amount of fish oil taking very, very large amounts of fish oil. I think moderation in everything is part of a healthy diet. To be honest, I haven't looked at any research on what overindulgence in omega-3 fatty acids will do, but I do tend to think that balance is better than stimulation or suppression of either side of the immune system.
Well, look, thank you for your opinion on that, because I think, and I promise the listener that we're going to be pursuing the other side of this spectrum, the anti-inflammatory side, in particular with fish oils and up-and-coming shows, especially, I'm going to say, in the month of February. So, listeners, let's just shelve that for now. Let's move.
It's an area I haven't done a lot of work in, and I hate pontificating on things that I haven't studied.
Well, let's just say there has been a tremendous amount of work done, and it is not known to many, and I plan and intend to reveal it in up-and-coming shows, and we're going to be talking about why necessarily the anti-inflammatory choice should not be fish oils. We'll let that go for now. Let's say with the other side of that spectrum, the boosting side, and here we are with a product called Epicore that you say balances, and that in those early days as the head of R&D, getting the science down was one of your primary objectives. Now, could you share with us as what kind of parameters? Because one thing, I thought it was cute. We were talking the other day, just yesterday, about doctors who had told you, well, look, I don't care what the numbers are. All I care about is how my patients do. I'll let you re-summarize that, because I thought it was right on point. And then I want to say, okay, good point, but now let's talk about the science and those numbers.
Surely. As a scientist, when I'm studying a product that humans eat, I want to know not only what it does, but how it works. So if I feed it to a bunch of people looking at allergies, I want to take blood samples, saliva samples, find out what's going on, and have them fill out a diary on how they feel. And when I was talking to a clinician who sees patients about this allergy trial, he did in fact say, I don't care what your lab results are. All I want to know is, do my patients feel better in the end? And
That's right.
To be fair, really, that is the ultimate end point. If I feed Epicore to people, it doesn't matter what their blood samples say. What matters is, do they feel better? So, if you like, the gold standard is, do they feel better in the end? But as a scientist, I need to know how that, as much as I can, about how that happens, partly because I'm interested, but partly because it also ensures or helps me to develop a better product, an improved product, or maybe a completely different product.
Well, I think that response to the clinician was in fact just that, the clinician side of this argument, which is, hey, I don't want to hear really about the numbers. I want to see how well that works in my patient, and that would be what I would expect a clinician to say, and I think that's very appropriate. I will say, Stewart, I'm going to say something to you that maybe has never been brought to your attention, but I've now counted up 6 different times when in speaking about Epicore, you keep using I believe the veterinary term "feed it to." when we feed Epicore, do you know that you do that? Do you know that you do? This is not Diamond V. This is Epicore.
That's never been pointed out to me.
Six times I count.
You are absolutely correct. I spent 10 years feeding Diamond V products to animals before I started supplementing people's diets with Epicore.
And you didn't make the transition yet. We don't feed them Epicore. Just point it out, Stewart, okay? They take it.
Well, just please excuse me, but I wasn't born an American. It's a language problem.
Okay. Believe me, you've never suffered from your English accent, so let's just say this is the first time. It's probably the only time. Let me ask you, then, having done the research, I'm very much interested, and I think my listeners would be too, because they're pretty sophisticated. I don't think you're going to snooker them by getting too down and dirty with the statistical information that you were able to uncover. What parameters did you study, and what were the results of your study with and without Epicore with respect to some numbers, Stewart?
Okay, let's look at a couple of things. The first one is antibodies.
Antibodies.
Antibodies. When we started supplementing people's diets with Epicore and comparing them to people that hadn't consumed Epicore, we looked at two sets of antibodies. The first one was salivary IgA, as it's called. And this is part of the human body's first line of defense against invading pathogens. Most diseases are caused by inhaling or eating bacteria or viruses that then attack you. And one of the first lines of defense, both in the saliva and in the digestive system, is this antibody called secretory IgA. It's a good thing.
Found in mucous membranes.
It's the mucous membrane, the lining of the gut.
Right.
When people consume Epicore, the levels of secretory IgA go up. So their first line of defense against invading pathogens is increased. This is good. At the same time and in the same people, we have taken blood samples and we've looked at an antibody called serum IgE. This is an antibody that goes up when you have an allergic response, like a response to environmental allergens. You know, when you've got hay fever, IgE is going up. Well, we showed that people taking Epicore, the IgE did not go up nearly as much. So we had these same people who had higher IgA, were able to fight off infections better, and at the same time, they had lower IgE and were suffering less from allergic responses to seasonal allergens. And this shows balance. We're not stimulating the whole immune system, we're balancing it and enabling it to do what nature intended, which was to fight off infections, but to react less to seasonal allergens. So these laboratory measurements on blood and serum were one of the first things we did when looking at how our product works. Then after that, we started looking again in the blood of humans at something called natural killer cells. these are involved in a whole range of immune responses. They're involved in, if you like, killing infected cells in the body, you know, cells that have got viruses and bacteria in them that shouldn't be there. They're involved in the normal turnover of cells in our body. You know, we constantly have cells dying and being replaced, and the dying cells need to be recycled, if you like. And we showed that after taking a dose of Epicore, within 2 hours, the natural killer cells in the blood had been activated so that they were more responsive and better at eating up the bits of the body that they were supposed to be eating up. You know, we showed activation of certain markers on these natural killer cells within a couple of hours. And these are the sorts of things we look at, and these are the sorts of lab measurements that tell us roughly what's going on inside the body. And I mean, there are others, but these are the the ones that I think were the most important ones.
Yeah, and for the listener, they should understand that when you talked about your first studies done on saliva and blood with respect to antibodies, that is one arm of the immune system called the humoral arm, and then there's another arm of the immune system called the cellular arm, really dealing with lymphocytes and so forth, and that's where the NK cells derive. So 2 arms of the immune system, and there are only 2, ladies and gentlemen, are put into play by using Epicore then, and you've got the scientific data to show that the improvements or the change in the biochemical environment was made by the ingestion, not feeding it, the ingestion of Epicore, and this was how you were starting to get a scientific explanation for what you had seen based on that insurance actuarial experience of Diamond D.
Yes, and you know, there are other things we've looked at that get a lot more complex. The immune response is controlled in the body by a series of signals, and the body sends out signals that this part should work or this part should work. They're called cytokines. And if you like, these are the messages that tell the body whether it should have an inflammatory response or not, whether it should increase levels of antibodies or not. And we've done quite a few measurements of different cytokines and shown that Epicore appears to affect this flow of signals to keep the immune system balanced so that you get a reduction in some of the signals saying, get inflammation going. You know, you get more of the signals that say, reduce inflammation. And this is part of how it appears to work.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Why don't we do this? You got to take your Epicore today. You're having a raspy throat, Stewart, and you need to get a glass of water, all right?
Yes.
So we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna allow Stewart to get a little wet the whistle a bit. When we come back, Stewart, I'm going to ask you about the product itself and how it should be taken. Is this a preventative, or is this something to be taken actively during the disease, or both? And if so, what should the dosages be as best you're able to determine? We'll move down that highway if you don't mind, okay?
I'm quite happy, and I will just go get some water.
Go get some of that water.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right, there you have it. We're going to let Stewart take a break. We're going to take a break ourselves. We're talking about Epicore today from a guy who ought to know. He was there at the beginning. He's still there now, feeding it to the entire world. We'll be back talking more about Epicore in just a moment.
doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asked you what to eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health. Here on this Wednesday version of the show, blizzard as we may be having outside. It's warm in here, and well, you probably are delayed a little bit in your departure from home. Kitties are around the radio this morning, and hey, they should be. We actually have a kitty version of this. We want to talk about that maybe before the time is up today. We're with the R&D expert from Embryo Health and the makers of a product called Epicore. Really unique as it is. We're learning about its uniqueness, and we've been talking about the science behind a lot of the studies that this man put into play. His name is Mr. Stewart Reeves. Stewart, are you back with us right now?
Yes, I am back with you indeed.
Okay. Wanted to take this to another part now, and that is the use of this product when it first made the scene, and probably because I was made aware of the Diamond V story where people who were working on the line there in Diamond V just didn't take sick days. They didn't get sick, and that you've now confirmed on a couple different occasions. So I always looked at this product as a great prophylaxis, a way to prevent let's say the cold and flu season to affect you each and every year. So I always talk about Epicore really in the fall and as we move into winter. How about taking this one for a moment, taking a look at the use of Epicore as to whether it's best taken as a prophylaxis, or if you were in the throes of the disease now, would it be appropriate to take it? If you do you take it differently? What's the dosing for the adult? And then I'm going to ask you about the kiddie version.
Okay. First of all, no dietary supplement can treat, prevent, or cure a disease.
I got that mantra. Okay.
Legal disclaimer.
A disclaimer. Okay. You have lodged it. It is out there. Thank you. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty.
We have a recommended dose of Epicore for adults, which is 500 milligrams, half a gram. It's basically a capsule every day. And we consider it something that it's best to take all year round. It's designed to keep your immune system in the right balance to fight off diseases and allergies. So if you are taking it, you are less likely to get colds and flu, in November, December, January, February, March. But then, if you're still taking it, you're less likely to get allergies in March, April, May. Then you're less likely to get a summer cold in June, July, August. And then you're less likely to get a fall allergy in September, October, November. And then you're ready for the cold and flu season again.
All right. With respect to upper respiratory infections and allergies, it is a year-round product, so the way that we looked at it back then was the appropriate way to look at it. And this shouldn't just be a discussion, however, about it's wintertime, folks, prevent your colds and flus. You just taken me a little trip around the entire year, and we can see that given parts of the year when we see explosions of disease populations, Epicore would be a great balance of the immune system and help you literally throughout the entire year. With the clinician in mind that you mentioned a while back where he wasn't too interested in the science, he was only interested in how best it affected his patients. What studies had been done in the R&D realm of your company to show, if there are any, how effective it has been in this population in terms of being able to prevent? Have you done studies?
Yes, we've done a total of about 7 human clinicals one way or another. We did 2 big cold and flu studies in the Midwest in January, February, and March, and we found that people taking Epicore had a statistically significantly reduced number of colds and flus in that period, and that the colds and flus were shorter, again, statistically significant. Didn't matter whether they'd been vaccinated against flu or not, they got a reduced number of days in that 3-month period when they had cold and flu symptoms.
So there you go.
We also, in the same area, did an allergy trial in March, April, and May, and people who were taking Epicore had a significantly reduced number of days with a lot of the congestion symptoms that are associated with hay fever. And to me, one of the big things was that the people consuming Epicore went out and purchased less rescue medication during the hay fever season. You know, that to me is one of the biggest indicators that they felt better. If you like, it's a clinical endpoint.
Sure.
They paid less money to buy less rescue medication over the counter.
Now, if you were to, let's say, be taking this for the prophylaxis year-round, 1 a day keeps the doctor away, should be the mantra, I guess. What about, and you should become afflicted while taking this in prophylaxis, how does the dosing, how should it increase? Should it increase at all? And if it does, and should, to what level? 500 a day keeps the doctor away.
First of all, we've never actually done any trials on taking it once you're sick. It's designed as a prophylactic. It takes time for the immune system to respond. This is not like taking a drug where it specifically targets the bacteria that's infecting you. It's taking time to tell your immune system, okay, reduce that, increase that, get in balance. We believe it takes sort of 2 to 4 weeks for the full effect of Epicore to be established. And so this is why we suggest it's taken all the year round. By the time you've got a cold and flu, well, it might help. I know people that do take masses of it if they get infected, but it's not the way it's designed to work, and it's not how we sell it or what we've done experiments on.
Very good point to make then for our listeners. By the way, we have now, and as we always have, we carry this product. When it first came out, we were inundated, and other doctors in the Pittsburgh area, other people on this radio station carry the product. The word has spread rather well, Stewart.
Excellent.
Yeah, it really has. Yeah, it really has. And we were really happy to be the ones who first brought this whole thing to the attention of the Pittsburgh audience, and happy to see that it's out there. But the first thing that happened when we brought it is they, meaning our listeners and my patients, wanted to ask about kitties. Because when you first manufactured the product, you only had an adult version. We were asked questions, is this safe for kids? And we didn't know what to answer at the time because it was just so new. Now it's many years later. Talk to me and our listeners about the kitty issue. And you do have a kitty version of Epicore that you've launched a number of years ago now and that we carry also.
Yes, we took the advice of a lot of medical doctors when we wanted to talk about children. And the consensus was that Epicore was safe for children over 2. Everybody is careful of children under 2. And that Epicore should be taken on a weight dose basis. So the younger, lighter children should be taking less Epicore. In a few years ago, people were always doing doses for children based on an age ratio with adults. Now we look at weight because we found out that children are a lot bigger than they used to be. Some of them grow very, very quickly, others don't. But there are companies that now buy our product and create children's products, and the recommended dose is based on the weight of the children.
What is that recommended dose?
The lighter the child, the less. It starts at a quarter of the adult dose for the youngest children, moving up to a full adult dose when they reach mature weight of about 140 pounds.
Is the child dose 125 milligrams compared to 500?
Yes.
Okay, so you can then utilize that little scale you were talking about based on weight, starting out with the lightest of children over the age of 2, I heard you say, at 125, and gradually work your way up toward the 5 based on at what point does the break-off occur? In other words, you start at 125, then when how many different kilograms or pounds does it go to 250, 375, and the like?
Well, really, this is up to the companies that make the samples. We sell the product in bulk. It's up to the company that sells the capsules to decide how they wish to divide it up for children. We recommend that 125 milligrams be the dose for younger children, if you like. And if you sell 125 milligram capsules, then as the age grows up, you can increase the number until you move on to 250 milligram capsules, etc. But this, as I say, we don't sell direct to consumers. We produce the product in bulk and do the science, and then sell it to companies who put it in their own capsules in their own way.
All right, got you there. Look, I think I have a person wants to ask you. You don't mind taking a question, do you?
No, not at all.
Hey, you're with Stewart Reeves. Come on in the store. Go ahead and get it off your chest. Would you like to ask him? Go right ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Go right ahead, yes.
Hi, I have 2 separate questions. I wanted to know if this product can be taken with the regular like NSC-24 beta-glucan, and or if you're taking it with other things for the immune system, like probiotics or echinacea, things like that, should they be taken like a couple hours apart from each other? Thank you.
No problem. Epicore is a yeast-based product, and it does contain beta-glucan.
Ah.
In our opinion, if you're taking Epicore, you don't need to take beta-glucans or echinacea.
Oh, very.
Because it should work as well, better than either of those in that it fights off the colds and flu and also helps with allergies, etc. In terms of prebiotics, Epicore should work very well indeed with prebiotics or probiotics. Epicore does have prebiotic effects itself, and the gut wall, the lining of your digestive system, is terribly important for immunity. And we think there's a lot of good ways that you can mix Epicore and pre or probiotics, and that they will have a synergistic effect. They'll work extremely well together. And it doesn't matter when you take them. If you want to take them separately or together, they should be just as effective.
All right. Stewart, bongos in the background, signal our time out of here today. I really enjoyed spending the time with you. I intend to keep on feeding it to everybody I come in contact with. You do the same, Stewart. Until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stewart Reeves and Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McLean, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002, 724-942-3002, for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.
Go take care of those spray something in it, another Epicore.
Speed reminds you,
We'll meet
children
up
are
at
naturally
least
curious,
let's
so
say,
follow
this
their
year.
lead. When you talk to your child, you build vocabulary. Learning starts before school does. For more
Okay,
tips,
good luck to you.
visit
Have a great year.
learning.org.
Many of us take stomach antacids because as we age, we experience digestion and heartburn symptoms. The body then has